country. And now you want to approve Trans-Pacific Partnership.
So let's just remember, as Donald Trump is railing against Hillary Clinton for her support for NAFTA, let's just remember that Donald Trump himself has offshored his jobs, encouraged other companies to do so, and suggested how they might do that in such a way as to lower wages for their workers. So, you need to take what he says with a grain of salt. It's very important that we go back and renegotiate NAFTA, that we do, in fact, end these incentives that currently exist, tax and insurance incentives that are part of these trade deals that encourage people to offshore. But we need to develop our jobs here. We need a productive economy here. That's why we call for investing in American jobs and in our Green New Deal, which will create the right to a job for every American who is ready to go to work. We have a full-time job for you, not only in small businesses, also worker cooperatives and nonprofits. And in addition, we call for ending student debt, and this too is one of the ways to restore our jobs and our economy. We have an entire generation of young people right now who are locked into predatory student loan debt without a way to get out of it, having largely low-wage, temporary, insecure jobs that have come back. We need to create those good jobs. And part of the way we do that is by unleashing young people from this debt. Democrats and Republicans decided to bail out Wall Street, the crooks who crashed the economy with their waste, fraud, and abuse. They came up with $16 trillion to bail out Wall Street. If they could bail out the crooks who crashed the economy, it's time to bail out the young people who are held hostage by this unfair student loan debt and by an economy that is on the skids. This is the stimulus package of our dreams, to unleash the people who are trained, they're ready to go, and to create the new economy of the 21st century.
Tremendous numbers of new jobs, but regulations. You are going to regulate these businesses out of existence. When I go around, Lester, I tell you this, I've been all over, and when I go around, despite the tax cut, the things that business and people like the most is the fact that I'm cutting regulation. You have regulations on top of regulations, and new companies cannot form, and old companies are going out of business, and you want to increase the regulations and make them even worse. I'm going to cut regulations, but I'm going to cut taxes big league, and you're going to raise taxes big league. End of story.
Let me get you to pause right there, because we're going to move into the next segment. We're going to talk taxes.
That can't be left to stand.
Please, take 30 seconds.
I kind of assumed that there would be a lot of these charges and claims. And so we have taken the homepage of my website, HillaryClinton.com, and we've turned it into a fact checker. So if you want to see in real time what the facts are, please go and take a look.
And take a look at mine also.
Not add a penny to the debt, and your plans would add $5 trillion to the debt. What I have proposed would cut regulations and streamline them for small businesses. What I have proposed would be paid for by raising taxes on the wealthy, because they have made all the gains in the economy. And I think it's time that the wealthy and corporations paid their fair share to support this.
Well, you just opened the next segment.
Well, look, I just finished. I think I should.
I'm going to
you go to her website, and you take a look at her website. She's going to raise taxes $1.3 trillion. And look at her website. You know what? It's no different than this. She's telling us how to fight ISIS. Just go to her website. She tells you how to fight ISIS on her website. I don't think General Douglas MacArthur would like that too much.
The next segment, we're continuing the subject.
Well, at least I have a plan to fight ISIS.
No, you're telling the enemy everything you want to do.
No, we're not.
See, you're telling the enemy everything you want to do. No wonder you've been fighting. No wonder you've been fighting ISIS your entire adult life.
Folks, go to the fact checkers, get to work.
We were unpacking a lot here, and we're still in the issue of achieving prosperity. And I want to talk about taxes. The fundamental difference between the two of you concerns the wealthy. Secretary Clinton, you're calling for a tax increase in the wealthiest Americans. I'd like you to further defend that. And Mr. Trump, you're calling for tax cuts for the wealthy. I'd like you to defend that. And this Next 2-minute answer goes to you, Mr. Trump.
Well, I'm really calling for major jobs because the wealthy are going to create tremendous jobs. They're going to expand their companies. They're going to do a tremendous job. I'm getting rid of the carried interest provision. And if you really look, it's not a tax. It's really not a great thing for the wealthy. It's a great thing for the middle class. It's a great thing for companies to expand. And when these people are going to put billions and billions of dollars into companies, and when they're going to bring $2.5 trillion back from overseas, where they can't bring the money back because politicians like Secretary Clinton won't allow them to bring the money back because the taxes are so onerous and the bureaucratic red tape. So what is so bad? So what they're doing is they're leaving our country, and they're, believe it or not, leaving because taxes are too high and because some of them have lots of money outside of our country, and instead of bringing it back and putting the money to work because they can't work out a deal to, and everybody agrees it should be brought back, instead of that, they're leaving our country to get their money because they can't bring their money back into our country because of bureaucratic red tape, because they can't get together, because we have a president that can't sit them around the table and get them to approve something. And here's the thing, Republicans and Democrats agree that this should be done. $2.5 trillion. I happen to think it's double that. It's probably $5 trillion that we can't bring into our country, Lester. And with a little leadership, you'd get it in here very quickly, and it could be put to use on the inner cities and lots of other things, and it would be beautiful. But we have no leadership. And honestly, that starts with Secretary Clinton.
All right, you have 2 minutes on the same question to defend tax increases on the wealthiest Americans, Secretary Clinton.
I have a feeling that by the end of this evening, I'm going to be blamed for everything that's ever happened.
Why not?
Why not? Yeah, why not? Just join the debate by saying more crazy things. Now, let me say,
there's nothing crazy about not letting our companies bring their money back into their country.
This is Secretary Clinton's 2 minutes, please.
Yeah, well, let's start the clock again, Lester. We've looked at your tax proposals. I don't see changes in the corporate tax rates or the kinds of proposals you're referring to that would cause the repatriation, bringing back of money that's stranded overseas. I happen to support that. I happen to support that in a way that will actually work to our benefit. But when I look at what you have proposed, you have what is called now the Trump loophole, because it would so advantage you and the business you do. You've proposed an approach that has a $4 billion tax benefit for your family. And when you look at what you are proposing, it is, as I said, trumped up trickle down. Trickle down did not work. It got us into the mess we were in 2008 and 9. Slashing taxes on the wealthy hasn't worked, and a lot of really smart, wealthy people know that. And they are saying, hey, we need to do more to make the contributions we should be making to rebuild the middle class. I don't think top-down works in America. I think building the middle class, investing in the middle class, making college debt-free so more young people can get their education, helping people refinance their debt from college at a lower rate. Those are the kinds of things that will really boost the economy. Broad-based, inclusive growth is what we need in America, not more advantages for people at the very top.
Mr. Trump,
Typical politician.
So just to be clear, Donald Trump, in fact, did propose major cuts to corporate taxes and also, I believe, eliminating the inheritance tax. So he is, in fact, talking about major cuts in taxes for the wealthy. And I also want to clarify that Democrats and Republicans both have a history of cutting taxes on the wealthy. Bush provided trillions of dollars in the Bush tax cuts for the wealthy. And Barack Obama then, to some people's surprise, went on to make the temporary Bush tax cuts for the rich permanent. So both parties have a history of giving it away to the very wealthy and shifting the tax base from corporations and the wealthy onto the middle class and working people. So that needs to be reversed, and we call for increasing the what I call the aristocracy tax, because